Hi, I'm Nia. I'm an actor and a writer, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about things. And this video is part 3 of a series that I'm doing about my experience with being dress coded in school. So like I said in my previous 2 videos, I'm not going to be talking about like the institution of dress coding and uh the system of dress coding and all the like crazy psychological things that can happen to people because of it. And I'm not doing any of that. I'm just talking about my experience with being dress coded. And in this video, I will be talking about my experience being dress coded in high school and some of the rules that they came up with and tried to enforce when I was there. Also, like I said before, I went to school in Atlanta from 2nd grade through senior year, and I never wore a school uniform. I did when I went to school in New Orleans, but I'm talking about my experiences going to school in Atlanta since that is where my experience is predominantly. So freshman year of high school, that was the year they had that trend started of wearing jeans with those like gigantic holes in them, but that was when that was like becoming a thing. And so the school banned jeans with holes in it, and at first it was just like the gigantic holes, but people kept wearing the pants, and so eventually they just banned all jeans with holes in it, which if you have ever shopped for pants in the past like decade, you would know that's a pretty like that can be a hard thing to do because that's a trend of having like small holes and like distressed patches in your pants. So, like, first of all, that was just a stupid rule. So, my seventh period teacher had like no chill when it came to like enforcing dress code rules and stuff and like the school rules. Like she was like, you have to follow the dress code, you can't use your phone, you can't eat in class, like none of those things. She was very strict. Whereas there were like other teachers who were more like loose about things, or like some of the rules that teachers thought were stupid, they didn't really enforce in their classrooms, and she was not one of these teachers. But like she could also be cool sometimes because it was a science class and we did a bunch of really cool experiments, one of which included a blowtorch, and that was awesome. Like I said before, she had like no chill, and it was kind of it could get exasperating sometimes because it was just like, seriously? I have 2 examples with this teacher. One time we were doing like a class experiment and we were rotating stations and the teacher's walking around, and there was this girl in the class and she had on like these regular like blue jeans. There was no like holes in them on like the pants part that were visible, but there was like this pinky sized, like not my nail size, like the tip of my pinky. That's how big the hole was. And it was on like the pocket area of her pants. And it wasn't like a fashion hole. It was just, it got worn away, or she caught her pants on something and like it ripped a tiny hole. And the hole wasn't even visible because it was so high up on her pants that her shirt covered it. And my teacher didn't even notice it until the girl like stretched or something and her shirt raised up. And then the teacher was like, whoa, is that a hole? And we were all like looking on, just like, are you really about to send this girl to the front office for a hole that's like microscopic and you can't even see it? And she did, and the girl had to change her pants, and it was 7th period and like half the class was already over, and it was ridiculous, but that's the kind of teacher she was. So my second story for this teacher was, I had this pair of jeans that I drew all over, and I wore them all the time, and there was a hole on the knee, but the hole on my knee wasn't like a fashion hole. It got there because I fell off my bike and slid across the ground. So the hole wasn't visible because the fabric basically just sat closed all the time. So you couldn't even see that it was a hole unless I like did a squat or something and like seriously like bent my leg. And I had worn these jeans all the time. She had seen them a million times before. She had complimented me on these jeans before. And I had even worn these jeans after they had made the rule about no holes in your pants. And I still kept wearing them because most people didn't really care about that rule unless you were wearing those jeans that had the giant holes. But if you have like a hole on your knee, no one cared about that because, like, what is scandalous about a knee? But anyway, so one of the times I wore these pants and I was walking into class and she was looking at my pants again and she was like, wait, is that a hole in your pants, like on your knee? And then she was like, bend your knee, and I bent my knee and the hole was more visible. And then she like looked at me like, and then she sent me to the front office because I broke the dress code. And I walk into the office and the front office lady looks at me and she's like, oh my gosh, I love your pants. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. She's like, did you make them? And I was like, yes, I did make them myself. I drew all over them. And so we were talking about that for like 2 seconds. And then she's like, like, what are you in here for? And I was like, oh, my pants. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, my teacher sent me. I was like, oh, there's a hole on my knee in my pants. And it was funny because she like made this face like, well, oh, was it Miss Teacher Teacher? And I was like, yes, it was Miss Teacher Teacher. And then she was like, ugh. And then she was like muttering while she was getting me like a change of pants about how Miss Teacher Teacher was always like sending people who were like just like barely even breaking the dress code, like she, like the girl with the tiny hole, like she would do that all the time, and the front office people were sick and tired of it because like she was enforcing the dress code like way too literally and way too strictly and wasn't taking into consideration that like there were certain reasons why some of the rules they had been added, but she didn't care about the minutia of it. And so the front office lady like gives me these sweatpants. She's like, just pull them on over your pants and bring them back after the bell rings. And I was like, cool. But it was so stupid because I had been wearing these pants all day. None of my other teachers had dress coded me. None of the other school staff who had seen me had dress coded me. So clearly no one thought it was bad or cared enough. But like now we're in seventh period. Like we're about to be going home in like 50 minutes. And now you're gonna dress code me for like why? When it was clear that no one else felt the need to do so. There was another time I wore a skirt that a teacher tried to say was breaking the dress code and it wasn't. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. And I just walked away. I got dress coded once because I wore a t-shirt dress and they were like, no, you're just wearing a giant t-shirt. And I was like, no, it's a t-shirt dress. And then they sent me home. No, they didn't send me home. Yes, they did. Whatever. Junior year, they tried to ban V-necks. So girls who had big boobs, I was not one of those people, were always being dress coded. If they wore anything that like random teachers and staff deemed like, oh, it's too revealing. But like what was considered too revealing was arbitrary and like differed from teacher to teacher. And like if you have big boobs, you're just gonna have cleavage unless like in any shirt you wear, unless it's like you're completely covered. And it's not fair to force people to do this, to like shame them into like hiding their body. But yeah, so like these girls were like basically like targeted and punished for having big boobs, which was like weird because the majority of the staff was women. And it's like, why are you should understand because you have things growing out of your chest as well. If you had a chest and didn't like dress like a nun, you would like get dress coded frequently. And it wasn't the entire staff, but it was like certain people who would do it all the time. So in the middle of spring semester, junior year, the administration tried to ban V-necks. And they came up with some stupid excuse as to why they were banning specifically V-necks. I don't remember what it was because all of us knew it was complete BS, and we all knew, like all the students knew the real reason they were banning these V-necks was because of the girls who had big boobs, and it was a form of body shaming basically. The teachers had been sent like a memo earlier in the week about how this new rule was gonna be like implemented, and like I said earlier, we had some really cool teachers who were like, this is stupid, and we had teachers who, some of them would like treat us like we were like they would treat us like we were the teenagers that we were and not like children, and they would have conversations with us, and they would tell us stuff that the administration was planning to do. So the whole school, we found out that they were going to be banning v-necks before they sent out the official notice to the school. And when they did, the next day the entire school wore v-necks, and like it wasn't something that was organized. Maybe like small groups of friends were like, oh, we're all gonna wear v-necks, but like there wasn't like a thing that was organized where the whole school knew about it. It was just something that the entire school collectively decided to do, and everyone was wearing v-necks the next day. And it was fantastic because we all knew that their reason for banning v-necks was stupid and it was sexist. And the school tried to say that it was a new rule, but you can't dress code the entire school or send the entire school home. Also, we didn't do anything fun at my school. Like, we didn't have like cool events or anything, so they couldn't cancel anything where like, oh, be like, oh no, because we didn't do anything. Also, we were like woke enough to I keep doing air quotes. Also, by this point in time, we had gained enough confidence and were like woke enough that we were like, well, we don't have to follow any of the rules that aren't in the code of conduct that we signed, and this v-neck rule is not in there. And the rule didn't stick because people kept wearing v-necks, and it just disappeared. And my last dress code story from high school was like really weird and stupid. So I was it was during class, and I was going to the counselor's office, and there was this woman who was walking out of the counselor's office, and we were walking towards each other like down the hallway, and I had never seen this woman before, and I did not know who she was or why she thought that she could speak to me, because she like stepped in my way and was like, are you wearing a tank top? And I was like, no. And then I go to like walk around her, and then she's like, show me. And I was like, what is happening? Why are you speaking to me? Like, what authority do you have to be questioning me if I am breaking dress code or not? Which I wasn't. This is what I was wearing. I was wearing a hot pink t-shirt, a black jacket, and jeans, and whatever shoes, which were probably boots. So like she should not have even been questioning me if I was breaking dress code or not, because there was nothing that she could even be questioning slightly. And on top of that, if I was wearing a tank top, I had a jacket on over it, so it didn't matter. So I don't even so this lady didn't even know the dress code well enough where she could like be questioning me on something that made sense. And then like she was just so rude about the whole like little situation. But I wasn't breaking any rules. So after I had said no and I started walking again, and then she said show me, I didn't stop walking. I just flipped my jacket open and I kept walking. She probably saw that I had sleeves, but that was the whole interaction, and I went on to my meeting with the counselor. I never saw that woman again. Don't know who she was, don't know where she came from or why she was there or why she felt the need to interact with me, but that was that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My high school dress code experience was much more chill than my middle school one, where I felt like in middle school I was being dress coded all the time for like no reason. Yeah. Middle school was like an anxiety ball. But yeah, so don't forget to check out my blog where I post personal essays, short stories, movie and book reviews, journal entries, whatever else I feel like putting on there. You can also follow me and or my cats on Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Thank you for watching. Bye.